Hello. Okay, we got a long one. I have not read it since I wrote it, so let's see what happens. Dear Ewan, I'm outside in the backyard of my B&B and my host comes out. I'm not trying to bother you, is easily sidestepped, and we debrief the past few days and bits of our lives. I read him the letter about eye contact that he was in, and he loved it, especially the part about confidence. As we're talking, he brings up that he's been on sabbatical the past 5 months and has only been back to work for the last 2 weeks. His doctor forced it on him after years of feeling off, not wanting antidepressants, and having all of his medical tests come back as there's nothing wrong with you physically. And he was telling me that I remembered something I thought about a long time ago. It was something I've always been ready to say to a friend. If you ever can't stop thinking of killing yourself, feel free to move to South America or Africa and don't worry about telling me. There is a part of conditional love that insinuates to us that we must facilitate others' knowing of us by framing transformations we're going through as contiguous. Contiguous, touching or next to each other with nothing in between. And it looks like I'm changing because this is a really heavy lift, like asking a caterpillar to call his mother while he's melting. We think we're people, but we're people managing identities, and those identities are made up by both us and those who know us. If someone I love is contemplating suicide, it's important to me to hand them a free pass to neither explain nor even check in with me about their needed transformations. Unconditional love says that your existence trumps my understanding. I honor the Irish goodbye. It's super important for first responders and veterans to tell their stories to wider and wider circles of listeners. I read a paper in grad school that retired police officers who never tell their stories just drink a lot and die very early. Police officers that tell their stories to other police officers die a little later. Those that tell their spouses die a little later than that. Retired police officers that testify to the pain they have witnessed as the T cells of our society, two strangers live the longest. A veteran is basically a man who went to war as a boy. No matter how much that boy envisioned himself loving shooting guns, there was no way for him to imagine a bullet hitting a child in the face. There's no way for him to try on making a friend and then holding that friend while the friend is dying from a run in with an IED. His identity is fractured. The mind cannot unsee things, so it sends him flashbacks in the form of intrusive cognitions, one of the main features of PTSD. It's very psychologically healing for a veteran to testify to what they have seen and have their community, both near and far, look back at them and testify, you're still you, and you're still part of us. My host just came out again to say hi. I stood up and leaned in, and he hesitated. My mind quickly assumed he's leaning back because he hasn't brushed his teeth. I then said, let's kiss while we both have bad breath to affirm our closeness. It was a great kiss. While still remaining a person with boundaries, I'm driven to accept difference and convey omnidirectionally, you're a person, and I'm affirming that. Hello, Bishop. I let the you're with us work itself out on its own because I don't have the capacity to be with everybody. I focus on being with people that reinforce that I'm a person. I pray for a world that achieves dynamic homeostasis, and I only extend myself locally toward what invigorates me as well. It's really important to me to affirm who I am by honoring my limits. For my 40th birthday party, I invited a bunch of people dancing and dropped some acid with my friend Liz. She asked, "Aren't you worried about who to be once we get in there?" I felt so clear. I'll just be whoever they decide I am. I don't mean that I'm a puppet. I mean that it has always been a collaboration, making me up. I'll just be me and they'll see what they see. One of the things that drew me to the cult was they were so new and I was so new to them. After college, I was only around people that had known me for a long time. I was the guy that liked weed, pickles, and fries. I was the guy that rarely tried hard at anything. The people in my life back then wouldn't say that, but I was stuck in seeing them only seeing that. The cult led me to shatter my own identity. Nobody brainwashed me. I didn't believe in some of the stuff, but the stuff I believed in was of the realest shit I had ever seen. I quit weed. I stopped masturbating for 2.5 years. I would do anything that made my experience more vivid. I was in a community of mystic psychologists. There were always little pockets of weird stuff. One time, one of the masters said cunnilingus was disgusting. I would just kind of blank that he said it out of my mind. This is when who I am gave way to what I am in my grand quest. I became a being who had a self or God inside. They told us, you're layered. There's you, and then your thoughts, and then your feelings, and then your intuition, and then your soul, and then the self, God inside. The soul is what's protecting you from the self burning you because it's so hot. God is too bright. Intuition is the whispers from the self through the soul. We're on a journey to get back into connection with the self. I had so many experiences, and enough of them felt real to have me fully invested. That was a big identity shift that they supported. I even changed my name. At my baptism, I was renamed Nathaniel. When Jesus met the apostle Nathaniel, he exclaimed, "The only honest man in Israel." I was known for my honesty. I wanted to be known for my honesty. I think you can see it in me now, Ewan. They wanted all of me, and I was a person that wanted to give all of me. It's easy to delineate contiguity, but the experience of the transformation was more like a miracle. I was a lost kid that was looking for a father, a family. From my perspective at the time, it was like stumbling into a superhero team and having my powers and flaws affirmed. My soft definition of a miracle is when, from the eyes of the experiencer, contiguity is impossible to track, and transitions are trusted and allowed and sometimes ascribed to higher powers. It's really hard to believe in miracles while also being agnostic about miracles. I'm not trying to walk on water. I am open to my life changing in a moment with no explanation. From the cockpit behind my eyes, these both are experientially equally shocking to process. I know that sounds dramatic and inaccurate. Some people becoming happy all of a sudden would be as bizarre and strange to them as if they saw somebody fly. This is why Jesus' story is so powerful to humans. It's an archetype of renewal. He died and was reborn. Our brains like to emulate, and so many people long for rebirth. The contiguity addiction slash forces has got them chained up. They can't reason out a contiguous narrative to get where they want to go. It's so total that most people have no idea of what could be better. Rock bottom is such a special place because it's there that the contiguity force has a chink in its armor. Nothing left to lose. Referencing the causal state, At rock bottom, like the bottom of a swimming pool, we can push off and generate energy that didn't seem available to us before. Indecision loses its righteousness because there's only one direction to go. My B&B host took a 2-month sabbatical that turned into 5 months on the advice/authority of his doctor. He said that if the doctor hadn't forced him, he wouldn't have been able to do it. It's like the call to the higher authority greases the wheels for the miracle to happen. I don't need proof. Daddy told me I had to do it. People can poo poo that, but it works. It's got a dark side too. The Nazi soldiers used the same mechanism to commit horrible atrocities. I think of it like a tool. Soldiers. There we go. I think of it like a tool. If we know what it does, then we can use it or not use it. We can be responsible. It's important to be able to identify our higher authorities, let them change, let ourselves reinterpret them, and know that they are merely projections of parts of ourselves that don't easily fit into our frame of self. One of my higher authorities now is truth. It's like a mathematical concept. I check to see if truth has ever led me astray, and I can't find a single piece of evidence. So when I encounter truth, I treat it like a higher authority. Now, when I'm changing, I can kind of keep my blinders on to all the demands to justify why this transformation makes sense. I'm following truth. Love is that way too, and beauty. An integral part of my definitions of love, truth, and beauty is that I can always learn more about what they are so they are never static. Fidelity to love, truth, and beauty means my understanding of them must change. They're both higher and forced to evolve with me. My most visceral embodied higher authorities right now are my creative output is the well bringing fresh water, my feelings of love. Am I feeling it and growing? My feelings of novelty, whether I'm meeting new people and feeling wonder in both the mundane and grand. My bank account, feelings of financial safety are important to me. That number in my checking account is feedback about my safety. Whether what I'm building with old people in my life feels alive. As a loyalist, I'm very prone to calcifying to ensure security. I facilitate relatefulness, and I'm still coming to grips with being other people's higher authority. Some people would scream hearing me say that, but the power dynamic is real. I don't know if it's necessary, but it's real. Understanding that it's not going away has sculpted how I talk to people and how I talk to myself. I can't stop affirming everybody's a person whether I understand them or not. Affirming everybody's boundaries are sacrosanct whether I understand them or not. Affirming everybody's present moment state is sane, stayable with, and workable whether I understand them or not. Affirming that everybody's experience is understandable whether I understand it or not. Where I push people and myself is, we can love this more. We can stay here longer. We're in connection no matter how it looks or feels. We can start again right here and now and always. We just got here, so we don't know how it's supposed to look. I affirm these things without checking. I push, and it feels necessary. The collective opinions of the world seem to push in the opposite direction. It's okay to raise my voice in a room that's shouting. Burnout is a psychological state where we still have the navigation programmed in a direction, but we are no longer the being that can carry it out. I still keep seeing my eye attracted more to unavailable men than to available men. I've had a few encounters lately with widely defined available men. Some are men that I don't envision being with for the rest of my life. They spike my sense of novelty so high that it doesn't seem to matter. My higher authorities are jockeying. Some are men that are so interesting that my body kind of shakes imagining being in partnership with them. There was a younger guy in London. I was terrified. I think he was too. We both pulled back about the same amount. I know I'm going to keep messaging him. Truth spoke. Something about how I'm never attracted to younger guys is so ironclad that I get suspicious. Questioning recalcitrant higher authorities is one of the best techniques to finding new identity motion without having to hit rock bottom. Anything that never changes could be an uninspected incognito higher authority. Burnout is pretty common, and I've read a lot of papers about it. One thing about burnout is that nobody stays on the edge of burnout long. They either recover or burn out. I feel better being in Europe, and I'm already booking similar experiences when I go back to the US. I don't feel tired. I do feel healthy. I've leaned out being on the road, even though I've totally had some fries. I'm not kidding that it feels like a miracle. An observer could say, but you're walking a lot. That's not the point. From the limited view in the cockpit behind my eyes, it looks like it shouldn't be happening. Last night, I was with my B&B host at Pride. He doesn't feel like the one. He certainly feels like a lifelong kissy friend, a lover. I was stressing about how I feel bifurcated, cut in half. Some part of me was having an amazing time building the mandala of our relationship. Some other part of me was a wandering eye, looking for the guy from days ago whose date scowled at our eye contact. I kept running experiments back and forth. I'd let my eye wander. There was a lot of energy and some stress. Sorry, I'm worried the dog's eating something. Energy and some stress. I'd come back to my host and feel pretty satisfied, losing my awareness of the crowd around us and any perception of their perception. My eye would still wander, just a bit. The stress or burning out in me is mainly attached to a frame that if I am two things at the same time, a wanderer and a builder, then I will fail at both of them. In the cult, they would say, you can't serve two masters. It's weird because there were two masters. I tried really hard to just be one thing, but couldn't pull it off. I want to wander and build with people. I felt a pretty massive relief when I finally remembered. This may look like I'm trying to be two things. I'm just a one thing that our language needs two words to describe. We're never two things. We're almost always one thing for which the world doesn't have a word. And for a second, I feel sane again with no stress. As I type that, it comes back to me for a little longer. I envision who could understand and accept this, and the list is short. That actually gives me energy. What I see in the world doesn't look like it's working. I am a being that reserves the right to always ask the question, what am I? And one of the answers that is coming back that satisfies all my higher authorities I am a being that wander builds. I cannot control others, so it's scary. I can't make them wander my way. If we wander the same way, allowing us to build something over a longer span of time, then I kind of got to chalk it up to luck. That fills me with a pretty intense sensation of faith, the felt sense that I don't know what's going to happen. It's so weird how that's always true, not knowing what's going to happen. I think the fact that the felt sense is showing up is equally related to how much I want to make longer term mandalas. There's 8 billion people on Earth. I'm putting my money on it being okay. Anytime I project, the dog just farted so loudly. Anytime I project an actuarial table onto more than 100 people, I feel sure that I'm looking at less than 1% of the possibility. I might not be able to find an insurance company, but I've kicked the tires enough to know it's time to get out on the road. I have to believe that if I met you, then there's more tribe out there for me. Some of that was really hard to say. Mike,